Channel 404, Protocol initiated. We have intercepted a cluster of 3 critical reality failures. Case 666, an elevator that descends deeper than physics allows. Case 616, a society where humanity is hidden behind porcelain and the truth is featureless. Case 808, a temporal anomaly where time reversed, erasing an entire population. Processing batch download. Do not look away. Case File 666, The Deep Storage. Kenji worked on the 40th floor. At 2 a.m., he adjusted his tie and pressed L for lobby. The button didn't light up. Instead, the digital screen flickered red. The number 1 vanished, replaced by a scrolling destination, -1000. Gravity lurched. The descent wasn't smooth. It felt like a free fall. The floor numbers blurred into a streak of red LEDs. -50, -200, -600. The air inside the cabin grew freezing cold. Frost crawled up the mirrored walls, cracking the reflection of Kenji's terrified face. When the doors finally hissed open at floor -1000, there was no fire. There were no demons with pitchforks. There was just an infinite cold concrete hallway filled with endless rows of humming servers. But they weren't computers. They were tall glass cylinders. Inside each tank was a human brain, suspended in gray fluid, wired to the ceiling with black cables. Kenji couldn't move. He saw a technician in a yellow hazmat suit walk by. The technician didn't look surprised to see an elevator. He just checked a clipboard and looked at Kenji. "You're early for processing, Unit 734, the technician said, his voice distorted by a mask. Kenji smashed the closed door button in panic. The plastic button popped off, revealing a camera lens staring back at him from inside the panel. Status: Employee Retention Protocol active. Exit denied. Case File 616, The Vanity Protocol. In the city of Oakhaven, skin was considered vulgar. Every citizen was issued a faceplate at birth. Porcelain, chrome, matte plastic. You didn't grow an identity, you bought one. Julian wore Stoic Determination, Model 4. It was a handsome face, sharp jaw, unwavering eyes. He hadn't seen his own biological skin since he was 3. The law was absolute. Removal is fatal. But Julian was curious. He found a straggler in a dark alley, a beggar whose cheap plastic mask was cracked. Julian pinned him down, ignoring the muffled vibration-like pleas coming from the plastic. With a trembling hand, Julian pried the cracked mask off. He expected rot. He expected a skull. He expected a human face. He found nothing. Not empty space, but smoothness. A thumb of pale beige flesh with no eyes, no mouth, no nose. Just a blank, featureless egg. The beggar didn't scream because he had no mouth to scream with. The mask wasn't hiding the senses. The mask was the senses. Without the hardware, the beggar was just a slab of blind, mute meat. Julian recoiled, dropping the mask. The beggar flailed blindly, suffocating because the mask contained the air intake filters too. Julian touched his own faceplate. He felt the cold latch behind his ear. He realized with horror that he wasn't protecting his face. He was wearing his only means of existence. Underneath, he was just biological static. Status: hardware essential. User is null without peripheral. Case File 808, Temporal Regression. The town hall clock didn't just stop. At 12 p.m., the rusty iron hands groaned and began to tick counterclockwise. Mr. Alastair, the town's oldest resident, was the first to notice. He felt his arthritis vanish. His spine straightened. It felt like a miracle. He watched from his window as the gray-haired postman suddenly grew a full head of black hair. But the regression didn't stop at prime. By 12:15, the businessman across the street fell out of his suit. He was suddenly a teenager, drowning in a blazer that was too big. By 12:30, the shouting in the streets turned into confusion. People weren't just looking younger, they were losing their memories. Adults stood in the middle of the road staring at their hands, forgetting how to drive cars that were now crashing in slow motion. By 12:45, the town was silent. The streets were filled with piles of empty adult clothing. Inside the piles, thousands of toddlers were crawling, crying for mothers who were now toddlers themselves. Alastair tried to write a log of the event, but his hand was now small, chubby, and uncoordinated. He dropped the pen. He looked at the clock. He couldn't read the numbers anymore. He didn't know what numbers were. At 1 p.m., the crying stopped. The clothes on the street went flat. The town was empty. They hadn't just turned into babies, they had regressed into non-existence. Status: population 0. Time: prenatal.